face down. This ain't small talk, this that hard truth. We've been walking through the fire, learning lessons in the flame, smiling through the silence, but the pain still had a name. Conversations with the mirror, had to face what we became. Truth don't always feel good, but it always break the chains. Yeah, late nights, real talks, no filters on the mic. We done lived it, we done lost it, we done paid the price. Ain't here to sell a fantasy or make it sound nice. If it cut a little deep, then we doing it right. Ain't no sugarcoating scars, ain't no running from who we are. If you listen with your heart, you gon' feel it from the start. It's the hard truth.
No disguise, no pretty lies, just real life.
If it hurt,
it don't mean it's true. We've been through it, so we talking to you.
It's the hard truth, strip down
every wound, every sound.
If you're hungry,
if you're ready for the proof,
pull up a seat. This the hard truth.
All right, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, pretty good. How's it going now?
Pretty good.
The new year.
The new year.
New year, same me.
New. Right. You know, I'd be saying new year, new me. No,
you're the same person.
I'm the same. We're the same.
I'm the same. We're just gonna
do better,
right,
in certain areas.
Exactly.
Right.
I got an added agenda.
Y'all changing up every year like that.
Worse than the Gemini, honey.
Well, welcome to the Hard Truth Show with
D-Rock.
All right, D-Rock and K. Jermaine. What's going on, peeps? What's going on? We're glad to have y'all here. Before we get started, make sure that you tap that bell on our YouTube page, because that's where you should be watching us at. Tap the bell and subscribe, like our posts, and make sure that you share it out and watch it to its entirety.
Right.
Get your life, get this information, get your mind going.
And get this tea, because sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. So we are back again. We do apologize for the delay in getting this episode out, but we were having some real technical difficulties.
And life be life, and let's just be real.
Listen, life be life, and life be life. People was moving. Look, I had unexpected days off and vacations and moving. I went out of town. You went out of town what? 3 times, 3 or 4 times. I had to go out of town twice. You moved. I mean, it was also of stuff.
Money was made and money was lost.
Come on for the Atlantic City trip.
Lord God have
money was made and money was lost.
Oh, my heart be hurting when that happened.
Oh, yes. But you just got to think, you know what? I had fun.
I did, and it was my fault that I lost it because because
we won. We did win big.
Right when we hit, right in the beginning.
We did win big. Well, we rallied at the end too.
Right.
But then we gave it right back.
Right. Literally.
Okay. Don't give it back. Keep it. Pull it off. Okay.
And run.
Run.
And don't go back.
Don't go back. Don't let the machine speak to you. I'll be walking around like, ooh, that machine's speaking to me.
Literally.
It's talking to me.
It
started playing your money, music right when I walked by and said, I need to play it.
Right.
No, don't let it happen.
It's like, come give me your money.
Yeah, that's what it's saying.
That's what we supposed to be saying.
They're saying, hey, we just gave you a jackpot. Come give it back.
Right. And with interest.
Don't you want to give it back?
With interest.
Yeah, because we did do that, didn't we?
Oof.
We gave it back with interest. Anyway,
yeah.
Well, we are back again, like we said, and we are working on doing this topic. We've been at this for a couple weeks now, but it is finally going to get out.
It's finally going to get out.
And the hard truth is, just because you date black people,
it does not
mean
that you're racist.
That you're
not racist, more so.
Yeah, because you know how people do. That's the first thing they want to holler.
I got 4 black friends, and I screwed 2 of them. So
so I'm not racist. Wrong. You just screwed 2 black people. That's all it is.
That's right.
That's all that happened.
Tell it to the slaves who had to breastfeed somebody else's babies. They're gonna look at you like something wrong with you.
Exactly. Tell that to the black descendants of Abraham Lincoln.
Right.
Anyway, so Welcome, welcome, welcome. The hard truth is, just because you date Black people doesn't mean you are not racist. We're going to get into it. So we're just going to start off, I guess, with a brief overview of things. So this topic lends to the subjects of not just racism, but interracial dating.
Right. And also, in some ways, colorism falls under
colorism, all of that. So this particular hard truth touches in a few areas. So we're going to kind of be going through and talking about different aspects of that statement. Just because you date Black people doesn't mean that you are racist. So that
again, not racist.
Exactly. Racist or not racist, right? But yes, but the gag is always the ones that say they're not racist because they date Black people.
There's a gag.
So we're going to get into how that the different things they play into that. So obviously there's a long history of interracial dating in specifically in the United States. As we know, at one point in our history, interracial dating was illegal, just like abortion was illegal, alcohol was illegal, all that. Interracial dating was illegal. It's hard to believe.
Unfortunately, abortion's back on
the back illegal.
It's back illegal. So that's that.
That's right, and that's that. Okay, enough said. We ain't even gonna go there on that one. Maybe that'll be another topic one day. But anyway, so there is a long history of this. As far as it being an issue, is what I'm getting at. There is a whole long history of that. Obviously, those laws were removed or replaced or whatever, or however you want to say it. And so now people can date interracially and not have a problem, right? But as anybody can imagine, dating interracially, there are definitely dynamics with racial culture, all that kind of stuff that plays into this. So we're gonna go through and get at it. So we starting with the definition,
right? So I'm just going to read a basic fundamental definition of racism, which there is variations, of course.
Right.
Racism is a system of belief, behavior, or structures that assign value, power, and or disadvantages to people based on race, while privileging one racial group over others.
Right.
And remember that there's one racial group over others. So it's not like a bunch of different people against different people, but there's one particular race that is over all other races as far as preferential treatment.
Right. Exactly. Preferential treatment for one race.
Right.
Exactly. And that's your definition. And so there are different ways that racism shows up.
Right.
Specifically in interracial dating. And the first one we're going to kind of touch on is fetishizing. Did I say that right?
Yeah, fetishizing. Yeah.
Fetishizing. I'm getting that Z-I-N-G is catching my lips wrong. Fetishizing.
Well, you sounded way better than I would say. That's why I left it to you. So
exactly. So fetishizing. That can be as it relates to Black men, fetishizing about their endowment. That happens a lot. You see these people that only date Black people because they have a fetish for
just the different things that, I mean, if you even historically, when we looked at it, the reason why Black men was used to father children was they believed that it would get some of the traits that they saw in those African slaves, as well as how they used women to breastfeed their baby. They believed that the nutrients would make their children much more superior, which is ironic because when you think about how the dynamics of white supremacy is getting us to think that we're lesser than, but they recognizing superiority in certain ways, and as a result, use those things as far as getting pregnant by the men and also by allowing the women to breastfeed them. It's just kind of interesting how we fetishize them in those dynamics. So just really liking someone because of their race, it can be that basic and not really the whole person that they are. So we see that happen a lot when they like to be with a person that's Black, but they're not really interested in all the other things that come along with that, such as cultural relevance, well, unless they're like appropriating, but that's another whole different topic.
Right.
But when it comes within a particular relationship, I want you, but I don't want to deal with all the other aspects of you, other than the fact that you're just black.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's fetishizing. And then we can also another area is well, with fetishizing, there's the dominance versus passive as well.
Right.
Dominance versus passive, being passive. Yeah. And that plays in just like that image of the black male Adonis being dominant and playing that role play.
Right. I mean, and even when it comes to women, black women in a relationship being the dominant and or they will consider the aggressor within the relationship, which I feel like that's another whole topic too, because a lot of times, even when it comes to black women amongst any other race of women, we look at black women being stereotyped as, you know, the one that doesn't feel a lot of pain, which is that has to deal with a lot, even when it comes to healthcare, but also black women being aggressor, being the aggressive type within even the female dynamic.
Right.
But yeah, anyway, that goes back to that part.
Exactly. Then there's microaggression or daily interactions, but that microaggression be something, you know, once again, that's where people say things like they don't see color.
Right.
How do you not see color?
And,
you know,
and a lot, and the reason is really good to hit on little things like that, because a lot of people think that they're saying something good when they say that,
exactly,
and really not, and don't understand how that is a microaggressive form of racism. You know, because the reality of it is that when you say things like that, what it does is it downplays who you are as an individual, which includes that, which is part of the whole microaggression.
I mean, just you can see it just in that statement. I don't see color. So what do you don't see me because I am colored.
Right.
We don't use that term colored anymore. We're not colored people.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, you're saying you don't see color. That means you're saying you don't see me. You're already reinforcing just with the statement alone that you are looking past me. But because my color is here, it's not that I don't want you to see me and see who I am and embrace me. So don't say I don't see color.
And the reason why that is racist specifically is because we know that there's a cultural dynamic in the United States where racism is active and it's continuing to be pervasive in every area of our life. And for someone to say they don't see color is like seeing someone who is being raped and they just kind of ignore it or downplay it. They don't necessarily see it or they justify it. And not seeing color is kind of a way to dismiss the value or whatever the dynamics is that is going on that is involved with a person's race.
Exactly, because it to me it lends to, okay, if you don't see color and you're not seeing me, then how can you see my struggles? How can you see
can't do that? Because if you don't see color, then that means you don't see all the unique challenges that come along with that person because of their race, because of the situation that we live in. So when you say things like, oh, this has been my experience, a lot of time people are very quick to dismiss it because, quote unquote, they don't see color, so it can't happen. And it's like, no, that really removes your ability to really empathize and say, you know, let me put myself in that person's shoes, because I recognize that they are African American or whatever their ethnicity is or their race. Let me put myself in their shoes and really see what is actually going on. But it's a way that we do that so that we don't even have to deal with our own biases and prejudices.
Exactly. And that microaggression, you had hit on that when you first were starting, that it seems small. It's in there, like we say, it's in their daily interactions, but you have to pay attention to those things because it's the small things.
It is the small
things. It's the small things that lead to the big things. If it's allowing these little small things to take place, not addressing those microaggressions, not communicating how that can be dismissive of me as a African American person. Like you have to address these. You can't just let them go.
And even when it comes, something that I've been guilty of is reinforcing stereotypes through jokes,
Right.
and mix. I mean, not even, it doesn't even matter if it's mixed company, even if it's not a mixed company, because realistically speaking, we shouldn't even really be reinforcing those stereotypes within our own communities, because realistically,
Mm-hmm.
out of all of that, we will believe them, and we'll, what we reinforce is what we also believe, and also how we behave, because we
Exactly.
expect that
Exactly. Exactly.
amongst each other. And so just those kind of things, or when somebody says something, they they say something like, "Oh, you're just being overly sensitive." No, you're
Mm-hmm.
being an asshole,
Right.
and you're racist,
Exactly.
and you
So
need
now you're gonna turn it back on me
right,
because I'm calling you out.
right.
No, don't do that. No, we're not gonna do that. No, no.
One of the other things that one of the points we want to talk about is cultural erasure, and it
Yes.
was kind of connected a little bit with what we talked about earlier about
Mm-hmm.
them only wanting to raise, so part of cultural erasure is, let's say you're dating someone and they're African American
Mm-hmm.
or of another race, and you're refusing to engage in your partner's culture
Mm-hmm.
and requiring your partner to assimilate into your
Into
culture.
your culture,
And that happens
exactly.
a lot. I've dated a zillion different people that has definitely not been ethnically African American. One thing I realize is that there is always there's definitely always, most of the time, not all the time, I hesitant to be involved into cultural things on my
Exactly.
side, because I'm a type of person, I'm a Gemini also. So I'm relatively affluent in all different, I can be in the hood, I can be in a black tie. I feel like I can do all of the above, and I do all of the above. And I
Do do
value each
do do do.
I value every single environment that I'm in. They all
Right.
are part of who I am, and I appreciate
Exactly.
everything about that. And even when I decide the type of person I'm going to be with is someone who can also be affluent in all those type of environments. Even when I'm going into their environments, like all the different forms that are involved with that, whether and so having that two-way street is something I figure is important. But when you don't do that, you might want to check in your mind, maybe I am racist, and I'm displaying it in a form that talks about cultural erasure.
Exactly, because we've all seen it. You see a couple, and if a couple is black and white, and you'll see couples where the white person is clearly assimilated to the black culture, and you don't see any of their culture anymore. And then you see it the opposite way as well, where the black person has assimilated over to the white culture, and you don't really see much what black culture out of them
And that's
after a
interesting
while.
because we talk about that a lot. Remember, there was a challenge going around where you were showing a bunch of different black women, and
Mm-hmm.
they were showing them with white men and how they dressed before they were with them, and
Mm-hmm.
how they
And how they
dressed once
dress
they with
after,
them.
right?
Even the guy, Taylor Swift's man, I don't even know his name because he's irrelevant to
Case
me.
or
Her fiance.
yeah, Casey,
It,
Kelsey, Travis Kelsey,
irrelevant, but right. How he dresses now
irrelevant,
with her, and how he dressed when he dated his ex, who I think was
right?
mixed
Who
or
was
black.
mixed, exactly.
He does completely different. Like he was down for the cause the way he dressed, and now he looked like something
Yeah.
different.
So right, so yeah. So in a sense, if that's the case, he pretty much allowed he assimilated to whatever culture his partner had. So um, it can be a big deal in interracial relationships, because when you do that in interracial dating, and you shut out people's, you kind of allow people, or by way of however it happens, they assimilate to that side of the culture, especially with black culture. It can cause so many different dynamics with the black family unit
Right.
when that happens.
Right.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen in white culture. I'm black, so I can only speak deeply about black culture, and I have seen that happen when when somebody brings a white partner to the family function, and then they look at them and they're like, what happened to you, like it starts causing, so it can cause some division in the family, because the
Right.
family will notice it. They've known you all their life, and so when they then start seeing you get with somebody outside of your race, and you start to change racially,
Right.
it
Of
causes some
culturally.
problems,
Right.
and they're like, what's going on here? So it's just so much. It's so much that goes into that. So you have to you see those things in those type of relationships, and that's where the racism comes in.
And the whole point of this is not really judging what is what, more so than it is being conscientious of our own thoughts, of our own behavior, of our own unconscious bias, is how we say, and really critically thinking about what role am I specifically playing in those dynamics, whether it has to do with cross-racially or interracially or within my own race and culture.
Right.
And I mean, just a simple question that happens a lot that seems relatively innocent. Again, why does everything have to be about race? If that is something that goes through your mind, I would really challenge you to think, why is it that you feel that that question is an appropriate question?
Yes.
Based off of any context that you're in.
Period.
What does that say about you if you have a problem, or if you see things as everything is always about race? Like, I would challenge, one, is it something that is always there, or maybe you're just being triggered in that way? Or maybe maybe it is about that because things aren't being addressed and you just have fatigue of not really wanting to address the problems.
Or you're the drama. Everything is about race because you're a racist. So you're making everything about race and you don't even realize it.
That part.
You know, you're the drama.
As Cardi B said nicely and elegantly, am I the drama?
Yes.
Ask that question. That's that is a much more appropriate question.
Am I the drama? Could it be me?
Could it be me, sir?
Am I the drama?
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Okay.
Yes, you are.
If you find yourself always saying, why does everything have to be about race? Then you're probably the problem.
Yeah.
You probably are participating in some of these things we're going on. And that's the reason why we're going through all of this, is because in order for you to know that you are participating in that dynamic, you have to be able to see it. If you're the one on the outside doing it, you don't always realize you're the one doing it.
Right.
So this is why things like this is important to read about, because you can see, okay, maybe I have been doing that. You know, like you said, it's about being conscientious of our actions.
And you have to do the work, because a lot of people want to have this name of, oh, they're not racist and they're this big woke, or I don't even want to say that word, but they have all of this, you know, they're really open and they want peace and all of this. It is impossible to do that without self-analyzation. Like, even within the construct of racism and white supremacy, as a Black man, I have to always think about, how has that influenced how I interact with my people? Exactly. Whether that has to do with being colorist, how I view my people, you know, am I contributing to white supremacy by elevating white people above my own people? Even the idea of even being open to dating interracially, why am I even open to that? Am I open to it because I'm valuing someone else over my own people? Like, these are all things that I have to constantly ask myself, because at the end of the day, I don't want to be the type of person that wants to other everyone. Oh, it's only those people that are colorist. That's within my party. Or it's only those people that are racist within my race. No, I have to, it doesn't even matter. I have to look at myself and say, how are my actions, behaviors, thoughts contributing to this narrative? Exactly. An example, like I said, for me, having those stereotypical jokes and making fun of them and not realizing the impact that has, how that really perpetuates these whole ideas of racism.
Exactly.
Within my own community.
Does. And that actually brings us to one of the other ways that racism shows up, which is within a power imbalance and respectability.
Right.
Power is definitely how racism shows up big time. That's the most giant way we see it. You see it in politics. Obviously, when it comes to politics, you see it in redlining. You see it in laws that are made. You see it in how they gerrymander and redistrict districts so that it favors one side over the other, one party over the other, and that usually is racial, favoring Republican and creating districts where it's heavily white instead of including the black populations in those districts to balance them out. This is how this is how racism shows up in power and in politics. I mean,
and also even when it comes to something as simple as human resources, what's considered professionalism. You know, one of the things I always pointed out when it came to that is because we look at professionalism. So something that I've seen happen and what has kind of changed a little bit, where it was unprofessional if you had an issue with someone to go directly to them, because a lot of Eurocentric cultures have been in the United States, at least, have been known to be more of a non-confrontational type environment where you don't confront a person directly. Where in my specific community, because I know we're not a monolith, in my community, we value if you have an issue with someone, go to them, because that is a sign of respect and to preserve the relationship, where that would be considered unprofessional in the job that I work. So I need to go to the manager instead of directly to the person, which that really, ironically enough, going to the manager creates a hostile work environment, and it does not preserve the relationship with that person. At least in my culture, it doesn't.
Yes.
So using things and trying to respectability politics and trying to, police.
I was gonna say it goes right into
really
how people speak,
right, dress,
and that happens the most in the workplace,
and express their emotions.
It happens the most in the workplace,
right?
It really does.
As far as what is acceptable.
Ooh, remember that trend that was happening? I don't know if it was last year or the year before last, where these people were showing up on the news because they were getting released from work because they were being told that their hairstyles were not professional.
Right.
And when you looked at their hairstyles, they were traditional black hairstyles, an afro, braids,
right, cornrows, dreadlocks. And that's why California passed that bill in their state where you can't discriminate based off of someone's hair.
Mm-hmm. And that's how so this is how racism shows up in the power imbalance. It's about taking you out of their environment and making sure that everybody that sits in their positions look a certain way, act a certain way, and are, and all of that means they're not black
until it's appropriated and made cool.
It's appropriated,
then we can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, there are so many different ways that happen using proxy.
Before we go past that, another way it shows up in workplace is, especially with black women, is when black women are told they're too aggressive or they're too loud,
right,
or they're too this, or you know what I'm saying,
right,
which is something with that it shows up there as well. That's a power play,
right?
That's a power play. That's how they're using racism to create and to balance power.
And when people say things like, "Oh, you sound well spoken for a black person,"
for a black person,
or "You're not like the others," separating, othering people, kind of thing. Those are all very racist things that people may think, well, what we call also backhanded comments.
Well, it is definitely backhanded comments, because I don't know about anybody else, but I've noticed that many a times people say, "Oh, you speak so well," or "You this or that, the other," but they didn't say that about the white person next to me when they introduced them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So why is it that you have to make a comment that I speak so well? You're just leaving off the racism part. I speak so well for a black person. That's all you're really saying.
And that's also part of proximity to whiteness.
Yeah.
Proximity to whiteness is a form of validation. So they're thinking, oh, they're validating you because they're basically saying you speak like someone that's been educated, which I guess apparently our people don't get educated.
Right.
And the irony of that is they see that as a form of validation, but it's really just racism.
It's just racism.
So just covered up.
You speak so well.
You speak so well. Let me tell you, that's why I'm so glad I'm from Baltimore, because I know how to read. I don't know if I can cuss.
All right.
I know how to read and dog walk.
I'm gonna let you know, brash.
Look,
okay, brashly.
I'll tell them, don't let this talking or these degrees fool you, because you can get all of it, what you want and what you think you want, but you're definitely gonna get something.
Smoke. All the smoke. Exactly. So the racism, I think we kind of touched on this earlier, how it shows up in family, social circles.
Right.
We kind of hit on that earlier, and I kind of hit on that earlier when we were talking about that. Just how those dynamics happen. In the African American community, it is still a point of contention to bring somebody of another race home.
And that's true. And I think on the other side, going to family functions
And
where
going
you're
to
not
family
the
functions.
where I am the minority, obviously, your partner minimizing or excusing racist behavior from family or friends,
Exactly.
or really, honestly, any place where you feel like you're having a family function and your partner cannot be invited because of their race or ethnicity, because of because it's going to be problematic,
right?
And you avoid those things, you are racist.
Exactly. Ooh, remember in that Tyler Perry movie we just watched, with Larry the Cable Guy and
Oh yeah, Christmas something.
Yeah, the Tyler Perry
Medea's
Christmas
I
or
can't
something
one
like
of
that.
them shit.
In that particular one, there was this was playing out. This family circle racism was playing out, where the daughter had a white husband. We found out because they eloped.
Oof.
And she didn't want her mother to come visit because her mother didn't want her dating a white man. So she was doing all of this stuff, keeping up all these lies. She was calling her husband the farmhand that worked on the farm and all just to protect her mother's racism.
And that can be a little bit different, just because we do understand that for that particular incident where the trauma of basically the mom not dealing with her own trauma with her husband leaving her for a white woman was really what was the source of that kind of trauma. But the reality of it is, if we're not checking ourselves and why we are doing things, then we really drop the ball on that. And we really take the opportunity when we exclude ourselves and exclude other people as well.
Exclude other people. Excusing racist behavior within family and friends. We kind of hit that.
Right.
We really kind of hit that.
Oh, that's just uncle. That's just the way he is.
That's just the way he is.
Well, he about to get mopped.
And even with that movie, like, that's just how she views things. She
gonna have a heart attack and die.
Yeah, she gonna have a heart attack and die if I tell her I'm with a white man. I can't do that.
And I'm not about changing people, but I am about respect.
Respect.
Because my family know anybody my family know I'll turn her ass up if they even move or breathe in a way of being disrespectful, because that's what it's about, boundaries and respect. But ideally, you definitely want to still confront those things. You don't want to kind of hide behind it or evade that kind of stuff. You have to hit it head on.
Exactly. Making it your responsibility to educate others while offering little support.
Right.
I don't know maybe this is just me, but I feel like I find that a lot on the African American side. I find a lot of people, especially on social media, that are really good at pointing out the problem and telling people they need to educate themselves, but they don't have any education for the person.
Right.
Like they don't have, they just want to say, go educate yourself. You wrong, you this.
Right.
Offer some support.
Right.
You offer some type of
support.
But
the problem is, I think a lot of times in this situation, when it comes to interracial, it's usually, for instance, there's all types of interracial couples, but we're going to specifically looking at the dynamics between black and white is what I'm talking about.
Right.
A lot of times I've experienced, and a lot of people that I know talk to have experienced, is where the white person is expecting you to educate their family, to educate them, and then they're not offering the support. So it's like you're doing it, and it's like almost like they're the good cop and you're the bad cop, really. Especially when you have to confront somebody else's family members and educate them. No,
exactly.
If you are interested in knowing about someone else's race and being enlightened, it's your responsibility to seek that out. Everybody else does it. It's 2025. It's easy to find information. Hell, it's easy to find misinformation too. But you have to make an effort on your own to actually do that.
Exactly.
And be supportive of your partner in a situation where you're expecting them to educate your family, which
you got to participate in.
They don't want to read from my book.
Yeah, you have to participate in that.
Right.
I may be the expert, being that I'm the person in that culture, but this is your family.
Right, and that's your partner, so you need to be supportive.
You need to be supportive.
100%.
Like, you need to be a part of that.
100%.
Exactly. Gotta support. You can't just it's often just thrown off on the other person.
Right, and of course, or the alternative, which a lot of people do.
This is your culture, so you need to educate them.
Right, and a lot of people do. What they do is, like we talked before, they'll exclude them from family events because they don't want to deal with it, because they want to avoid the situation. I would definitely think about your own internalized racism when you aren't even willing to confront the people that are racist? Is it because you might be a little bit more racist also?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
definitely is.
Because when you're, I don't give a hell who you are. When you're passionate about something, you will look. How many people do some crazy shit when it comes to sports? And we talk about this. All the stuff that we are passionate about, we will have no problem with doing what we need to do. But it's if we don't really believe it, we have the problem. And so I would reevaluate.
Issue.
I would reevaluate yourself when it comes to that kind of thing.
Absolutely. You know, be civil and don't cause tension.
Right.
No.
Even though your uncle is acting crazy and out of pocket, I'm supposed to be quiet.
Exactly.
Baby, yeah. That just doesn't happen in my line of work.
Mm-hmm. And then being being complicit because you are silent.
Right.
So not saying anything is not a way out. Okay. It's not, you're complicit.
Right.
You're
just as racist.
You're just as racist by not saying, if you're witnessing it and you're not saying anything and you're not addressing it, you're part of the problem.
You are part of the problem.
Period. And
you get the same penalty.
Same penalty. Chopped.
Okay? I guess I can't say that.
You get red.
I take that back.
You get
no. We not to say death on TV. You know, they be like,
maybe not murder.
Right. Oh, you just said it.
Oh. And yes.
For the what did we call them again? For the algorithm gods, we did not say those words.
We didn't. Yes. So dating market racism. So
treating people like they are a phase. I'm only sleeping with this group of people. It's just a phase I'm going through.
Right.
Definitely racist.
Definitely.
Probably
racist.
On the top 10.
Highly racist. I was just going to say highly racist and toxic. Period. Yes. Treating people as a phase. Not being seen as marriage material.
Right.
So you're good enough to have sex with.
But not to take home the mother.
You're good enough to have fun with it, go out on a date, but not good enough to take home the mother.
And that hits both of those dynamics because maybe you're racist definitely, but you realize your family is the same way. And maybe you're only doing it to get back at them. That's the other thing.
Right.
You're just trying to be rebellious. That's that phase. And once you get out of your rebellious phase, then you go on to the person that you would prefer to be with.
Right. Or who's acceptable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, we talked about colorism already.
We talked about colorism.
And a little bit about gaslighting, but gaslighting and emotional labor.
Right. Being told that, and that would be like being told that you're overly sensitive. That's what I talked about. Whenever you point out racism, it's like, no, you are racist. See, I gotta work on this cussing because I'll be just like ready to pop off, but I forget.
Just flow out.
Right.
You know, sometimes it helps close the sentence out.
It does, but I don't want us to get banned already.
Right.
We just don't.
We just
be like, beep, beep, beep,
we don't
beep,
need no violations. We don't need no violations.
But yeah, yeah, being told that you are too sensitive when pointing out racism, I'm just like, boy, bye.
Right. Yes. Constantly having to explain basic racial realities.
If you're in 2026 and you still don't understand how racism works and how the dynamics that it play out in everyday life,
then you're racist.
And you're the problem. You are the problem. Okay. And I don't understand how you live this far outside of the womb.
Period. Probably due to a moist rock.
Oof. That's a lot of fungus.
Well, we're seeing it now today. Where did all these... we ain't even gonna go there.
I don't want my blood. Look, my blood pressure is already high.
My boil.
Let me give me some water.
Not do that.
That just made my mouth dry thinking about that.
Exactly. Feeling like you have to justify your hurt with proof.
Right. Right. Baby, it's 2026. The only proof you're going to get if you continue to cross those kind of boundaries
is these hands.
Well, that too.
Anyway.
But I'm gonna try silence and walk away because at the end of the day, my energy is too important and my peace is too important to protect. And that is something that will get you nailed to the cross immediately with me.
Immediately.
Oh, we're done. And let me tell you, anybody know me? I got the gift of goodbye, bitch. I can disappear quick.
Baby, go ghost in a second, honey. I am a ghost.
You won't even know I'm gone.
I am a ghost. Like a ninja, baby. You won't even see me there.
And we talked about sexual racism because here's what people don't understand. Like, I don't understand the logic between, because I have sex with you, that means I must not be racist. I'm like,
no,
that don't mean shit. That just
No.
means you got good taste and know when good pussy is good. I mean, when good, when
hiya.
you know that the stuff is good. That means you got good taste, but you still
It just means
racist.
you have good taste.
100%.
It just means you have good taste, right? And speaking of taste, when people phrase it as that, you know, that's just my flavor. You know, when they say, "Oh, they only date black people," I'll say that's just my taste.
That's my preference.
That's just my preference.
Preferencing people, yeah.
Preferencing.
You prefer to be racist, bitch.
Mm-hmm. And then this is something you see a lot. I think you see a lot in the LGBTQIA and all the other letters community, ranking races by desirability.
Plus, just add the plus sign in there too. So
exactly, just say the plus.
You know, the whole alphabet, basically.
Alphabet. But you see it a lot. I hear that so often in the community. You'll hear, oh, you know, well, I really like black guys, but you know, I'll date a black. Like they start.
Or you'll see profiles, no blacks, no Asians, no femmes, no. I mean, I'd be like,
yeah.
I'd be like, the reality of that, the reality of it, that the reality that you have to even say that, I feel like is problematic because the worst thing that could happen, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and let's say that you prefer a particular race. You interacting with other people in that process because they may not be that race, there's nothing wrong with that.
Not a thing wrong with that.
That doesn't give you a filter. That doesn't filter out people. Ironically enough, it's just going to antagonize people that are in those categories to hit you up even more.
Exactly.
Because clearly there's a sore spot for you.
Sore. Either way,
I just never got
it's
that.
problematic.
Like if I ever say, and you know what the crazy part about that is, none of them people would ever say that in person if they was in front of people.
No, they would not.
They wouldn't.
They would,
because they're cowards.
They wouldn't come.
Let me tell you, I'll say what the hell I want to say, whether it's online or not, and people know these hands are ready if I need to. But what I'm not going to
say is anything that gets us a violation.
Right. That's online. But in person, I'm definitely going to say
it. Period.
Because at the end of the day, I'm an honest person and I believe what I believe and I have convictions. And also when I feel like something needs to change, I'm ready for that.
Exactly.
It's not easy, but that's just life. Get over it.
That is life. Exactly.
I think part of the reason is participation trophies and
screwed everybody brain. And I'm telling you, it's them damn oodles and noodles.
Yeah. I love oodles and noodles.
Listen.
Even though I haven't had them.
Listen, all it takes is a minute on high. It's a dime a pack. That's a trap. Ain't that what Adele said? That ain't no damn meal.
It's a good trap.
That's a trap, honey. Got everybody's. It messes up your thinking.
Right.
Okay. Messes up your thinking.
No, that's true.
Being hypersexualized based on race, we kind of hit on that. And then we wanted to also talk about what healthy interracial dating looks like, because we're not going to just sit here and tell you, you know, where the problems are.
And you're a racist piece of shit.
And you're right. And you're a racist piece of shit. We're gonna tell you what it looks like in a healthy form. What interracial dating looks like without the racism. Trying to curtail those moments, doing what you need to do, as we talked about in all these different areas. So,
right. And so, like, when it comes to like fetishes, right? We talk about fetishizing, and what we want to make a distinction is fetishizing. A big component of fetishizing, which really makes it a horrible part of it, is an objectification of someone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because there's nothing wrong with being curious sexually with someone because they're different. So having that sexual curiosity is healthy.
Exactly.
But it's when it becomes objectification within fetishism is what really makes it racist.
Exactly.
Or undesirable, I guess.
Or undesirable. It's all in the approach. It's all in
because people want you to be curious about them. They want you to explore them and the differences they are. I mean, that's what makes it fun, something different that I want to explore and get to know and be a part of, but not really objectifying. And I think that's the problem that happens when it comes to things
exactly.
Like
you just got to stay away
especially
from sex. So, and then next we say believing a person's experience without being defensive.
Right. If someone tells you that somebody is discriminated against them, believe them.
Believe them.
Period. Next.
Exactly. We'll believe them. Period. That's all it needs to be said. Questioning people. Being willing to confront family and friends. We hit on this earlier. If you're silent when things are happening, you're complicit.
Or if you're avoiding family
avoiding them,
dynamics
yeah.
because of that,
You're complicit. So you got to be willing to confront family and friends. Now let's add a caveat to that. That confrontation does not need to be negative and fiery and toxic. We understand that you're witnessing racism, but you don't fight fire. You don't, in this situation, if you're trying to be of assistance, or you're trying to educate people or bring peace, you don't need to come at them negatively. You don't need to come at them nasty, and you certainly don't want to do that if you're in a situation where racism is taking place. You probably already heated, and this conversation is probably already a little weird at that moment. So you don't want to throw, gasoline on the fire.
You don't, but you also want to say, because the problem is they don't really go into the fire. Right. So for them, the problem is usually they don't say anything. So you have to set a hard boundary,
right? So
especially in the situation. Mm-hmm. If someone there's a difference when you're in a situation and then you know of a situation.
Right.
If you're in a situation where you see your partner's blatantly being disrespectful, yes, you need to set a firm boundary. Excuse me, that is not to be accepted. You need to end it and nip that in the bud. Right. But if it's a situation where you know a person is that way and you want to maybe meet with them one-on-one and kind of address those things, yes, then you want to make sure that you definitely want to call them out on the truth, but you want to do it in a way that doesn't put them on the defense if possible. And, which basically is based on how the words you choose.
Exactly.
And not really even pointing blame. You can just bring up observations. I observed this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. That communicates to me that you're being racist. I'm not saying that you are racist, but that is what you're communicating when you do that. Can you shed some light on that? Right. And that gives them the opportunity to be like, hell yeah, I am. Or for them to actually then internalize, okay, let me actually see what's going on. Because I think a lot of times it's hard for people to look at that when they automatically jump to the defense. But if you can kind of avoid that part.
Exactly.
Right.
But if you come at it with, with a energy that says not just says I'm confronting what you're saying, but it says I want to talk about it, or that I want to correct you, or I want to get understanding, and not I hate you, I'm angry. You can get more. I feel like you can get further with that energy than you can just being so angry that you just start yelling at somebody because you're hearing it. So yes, you need to confront it, but don't confront it with negativity if you can. Shared accountability about race.
Yeah, that's within the couple.
Yes, yeah. Which we talked about earlier as well. You both parties when we were talking about not supporting the person. Especially when you specifically talked about putting somebody up to educate your family. And not being there to support. You need to share in the accountability about the race and about the support
on both sides.
On both sides.
And then basically 3 things that you want to always remember: love will never require you to shrink.
Exactly.
Racial exclusion is not neutral.
Not neutral.
You're complicit.
Exactly.
And it's basically learned and reinforced.
Exactly.
So you have to practice these things.
Mm-hmm. You have to practice these things. You absolutely have to practice these things. But I really love the first one. Love doesn't require you to shrink. Doesn't require you to shrink. You have to remember the aspects or your foundations. It's something that I talk about a lot. The foundation in everything is love, because what we're talking about is interracial dating. We're talking about 2 people that love each other, that have come together. So if you truly love each other and really truly love each other, then you should be able to have these conversations, work through these dynamics, and understand that you're shrinking a person by allowing any of these things that we've talked about to take place.
Right.
You should be able to see that, and all leading with love is always going to be better than anything else.
Correct.
Now, if you try that and that don't work, then you just bop them up on the side of the head. One good time. Or twice. Well, how many ever times?
Gravity always said there's a reason some people say that the saying knock some sense into them. Look, we are educators.
Came from somewhere.
We are educators. We are educators. And at the end of the day, if that's your learning style, who am I to judge?
Some people, that's why the School of Hard Knocks exists as a phrase, baby. Some people have to go to the School of Hard Knocks to learn.
And I've been there a few times, but you know what? Not for me.
Not for me on this one. No. So that is what we have Interracial dating and racism. Just because you date Black people doesn't mean you're racist. And now you know the ways to be able to look back and on your interactions in that dynamic. Even if you're not dating somebody interracially, this is that's outside of your race. This is still good information, not just for the dating portion, but just interacting
in life
generally
with people of different cultures or different races.
So everybody should be able to take something from what we have said here today. So yeah.
Yep.
It what?
No, that was it.
Oh,
it can be applied to everything.
It can be applied. Oh, yeah. It can be applied to everything. So apply it. Exactly. So we thank you for coming and stopping by and watching this episode. If you made it this far through the episode, that means you are a trooper and that we love you.
And you're on the right track.
And you're on the right track because you're learning and you're gathering information and you're self-developing and growing. And that is what it's all about, is to continue to grow. I know I love that hat too. To continue to grow. I'm representing Eagles today. This is the last week of the season, and so we need the Eagles to finish strong. Eagles.
We missing the game.
Yeah, and missing the game for this. That's okay because business is business, baby. I can 100%. Always go back and see the Eagles.
That part.
Period, point blank. But we have to do what we have to do. We have to stay focused. So don't forget about the shoot your shot. You're gonna go. It's scrolling down at the bottom. You're gonna send an email to questions@thehardtruthshow.com, and you're gonna send us your questions, your topic suggestions, as well as your shoot the shot bravery. Now remember, our shoot your shot section is all about you being brave enough to bring some hard truth that you want us to bring some a question or a topic that you want us to bring some hard truth to, or if you have a hard truth that you've recently discovered that you want to share, that you want to share with the audience, with our audience, with the fam, send it on the email. Questions@thehardtruthshow.com is the email. Submit all of those things there, right?
And don't forget, like, share, and subscribe.
Tap. Like, share, subscribe, watch. Yes, please share it out, because if people need to see this information, people need to know, people need to grow. The more you know, the more you grow.
Ooh.
Period. Remember back in the day they had that the more you know, and then it went across the screen. Right. That's what it made me think of. Now, coming up, guys, we are in a new year, and we have decided we're going to be doing a nice little thing during the Black History Month. During the month of February, we are going to theme our topics around Black history, around Black culture, obviously because it's Black History Month and because two Black people is sitting in front of you.
100%.
Okay, so that's what we know. Okay, that's what we're involved in. So we are going to be doing some topics and just that related.
And different truths related to stuff that is not really out there. Like, everybody know about some things, but there's a lot of things within Black culture, whether it's inventors or people who were really impactful, that don't really ever really get the shine or the sunlight. And also topics that really don't really get as much sunlight that we want to kind of talk about as well. So yeah. That'll be coming up next month.
Exactly. So stay tuned for our Black History Month, but we are going to be coming back hopefully weekly now that we've gotten some of all of these little hiccups smooth out in especially when it comes to the podcast and things. So we should be coming to you guys weekly. So don't forget to hit that bell for the notification so that you can receive it when it comes. I dropped my phone. You can receive the notification that the episode is dropping when we drop it. So make sure you hit that bell. Once again, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, you say you look good today. You feeling it today, huh?
I hope the camera actually, yes.
Thanks. But yeah, so we're gonna get out of here, but we appreciate you guys again. Don't forget, we are coming to you weekly, so look for us. And then again, and look at our all of our socials. TikTok, Facebook, fan base, Instagram. What is that other one? X.
I almost said Vine, but
do it for the Vine. I ain't gonna do it. Do it for the Vine.
Is Vine even still out there?
Do it for the Vine.
Anyway, we gotta
go.
The
Vine got it started, but anyway, we gonna get out of here.
The Vine, or was it MySpace?
Well, MySpace existed, but I felt like going viral came really out of doing it for the Vine.
And y'all gas. Who cares about viruses, right?
Yes. So we're gonna get out of here, guys. We thank you and we appreciate you for joining us. Tune in next week. Tune in next week. Yeah, let's do a little music first.
Let's do some traveling.
This is our theme song for the podcast called The Hard Truth.
We done trust the wrong people, learn who fought and who stayed. Had to unlearn what they taught us just to find our way. Growth don't come easy, yeah, it costs us some days. But we rather be honest than be lost in the face. It's for the ones feeling stuck, feeling seen but unseen. Trying to heal while the world tell you stay in between. If you ever felt alone in a room full of dreams, yeah, we talking that talk, you ain't heard on the screen. Ain't no shame in saying names.
If the truth make you change,
then it's worth every frame. Oh, this the hard truth.
no disguise,
No
pretty lies, just feel alive.
If it ain't real,
That mean it's true, we've been through it, so we talking to you.
it's the hard